Welcome back to Stonehaven Shorts. I'm Lorianne. Guess what? We're scrapping today. And by that I mean, look at all this luxurious vegetable scraps. I've been collecting this for about a month. Anytime I make a salad, anytime I do any sort of a casserole, whatever I'm chopping vegetables for, making veggie trays, I keep all of my scraps. Little itsy bits of celery, ends of tomatoes, we've got onion skins in here, peppers with the seeds on it still, you name it. I'm going to make vegetable broth with this. One of my favorite things to do is to make soup. And to do that, of course, you need a nice good broth base for it. With help from my handy dandy Instapot, this is how quick and easy this is. This is gonna be the shortest Stonehaven shorts that there's ever been. You take this, well, let's make sure that everything's out of plastic bags. You take your vegetables, you dump it into your Instapot. I'm just making sure that all of my vegetables are out of the plastic there. And you know, even if you have garlic peels, I have pieces of cabbage in here from making coleslaw a little while ago, and cabbage rolls. I even have an end of a spaghetti squash in here. You have to make sure that, of course, you're following the rules of your Instapot and that it's down quite a ways. Look at leftover kale. Stuff it in there, make sure you're not to the maximum amount. The frozen part of things, of course, is going to be up a little bit, but once I add the water, which I'm going to do now, then of course it will sink down a little bit. If you have, no, you know what, don't use the soup broth setting on your Instapot. I have an Instapot Duo Pot Plus, which helps me make yogurt. There's another Stonehaven short. All you're going to do is pressure cook this for 50 minutes. 50, 55. I usually do 50 minutes, and that's lots. Okay, I'm adding quite a bit of water. I don't add any seasonings whatsoever. You can always add your salt and whatever you want your broth to taste like. You can always add that later. I don't add any of that. It truly is just going to be an extraction of vegetable. Okay, so I have it loaded up to the max as far as what fluid is allowed. Actually, I might even be a little over that. I am, so I'm just gonna take a wee bit out of that. There, now I'm within its limits and its capabilities. Throw the lid on it and pressure cook that for 50 minutes on high. And when it's done, I'll show you what it looks like. Do yourself a favor, start collecting those scraps. You gotta anyways, if you're in town, you got compost bins everywhere. So you might as well do something really good with it. That is what we have, folks. Just about, you can see the vegetables that I used there. And delicious broth underneath. I think I'm gonna get about 4 to 6 cups of broth. Let me get this strained. Oh, it's just wonderful. And of course the smell in your house is excellent too, but let me get this drained and I'll show you what the broth looks like. I have strained the broth. I have 8 cups, just about 8 cups of beautiful, rich vegetable broth. That is how easy that was. So now that I have the broth, what am I going to do with it, you ask? Well, I have a couple of things that I end up doing. First thing is, hey, I'm a jar freak, so you know that it's gonna hit some jars. I'm not gonna fill it up all the way. Of course, when you put something in the freezer, it's going to expand. So I'm probably gonna fill it up to about there, and I'll throw it in the freezer. The other thing I've done is I've saved yogurt containers, cottage cheese containers, sour cream, that kind of thing, and throwing them in there. I also have these little plastic nice containers that came with some fruit. And the other thing that I've been put onto are these little plastic bags. You get them at the dollar store. Clearly they are reusable. As you can see, I already have vegetable broth written on that. I have a nice little expandable base, and I throw them in there. This actually is probably the easiest way to store them because you can store it flat, you can stack them up on the door of your freezer. I really enjoy these, and of course they are reusable, so I do have a few of them. I think it's maybe $2 or $3 for a package of 3. So there you have it. That is vegetable broth. I make tons of soup, and I hope that you take the time to do this. You can do this with chicken, you can do it with beef, you can do it with vegetables. You can do it with a smoked, if you smoked beef, or if you smoked chicken, that adds another dimension to the flavor. So give it a try. It's nice and it's easy. Avoid the ordinary. Stonehaven Shorts. If you like what you see, subscribe, or make sure you hit the little bell at the bottom so that you don't miss out on anything. I'll see you again next time, guys.